Okay, and today I am speaking to Mark Perl. Mark is an international speaker, an author and an expert trainer in business networking skills and how to use LinkedIn for business growth. Mark works with individual business owners and corporate business teams, training them in how to network better, whether face-to-face or online. Mark, a very big welcome and thank you for joining us.
Tony, thanks for the invitation. Lovely to be with you today.
Excellent. So what we're going to be talking about today with Mark is business networking, why it's so important and why it is an essential skill for successful business owners. So Mark, my first question to you is, why is attending business networking events so important for businesses and for business growth in particular?
Well, I think that it's fair to say that if we look at most small business, we find that 80% of a small business's client base is within a 30-mile radius of their postal code.
Sure.
So business goes locally, and it's important, therefore, to be involved locally with the businesses in your area. I think for all business owners, marketing leads on to the sales, and you can't do better marketing than business networking. I think it's fair to say, particularly amongst social media, particularly what we've seen with advocacy, people are less inclined to believe what you say about yourself. So they're less inclined to believe your marketing, your advertising brochures, or anything else that you're putting out there. And they're more inclined to believe what people are saying about you. So your strategy for success must include visibility. And if you don't go, people won't be able to get to know you, and if they don't get to know you, they won't have good things to say about you. So it really is essential to be visible and to be involved.
So really it's important to sort of blend the online with the offline. It's no good just saying here's a load of testimonials and what have you. You need to get in, meet your local business community and your potential customers.
Absolutely. I mean, testimonials are a wonderful thing. Recommendations on LinkedIn are very powerful things to have for you, but it's absolutely essential for people to generate recommendations that they actually get to know you. And online networking is a critical part of networking. So you have networking face-to-face at events, which requires a certain set of skills, and you have networking online on business networking platforms like LinkedIn, which have another set of similar skills. But I would always say that it doesn't matter how far you go with online networking, you've always got to meet somebody face to face. You've got to look them in the eye, you've got to press the flesh, you've got to shake their hand.
Definitely.
And engage with them, and that is the thing that is going to take any relationship to the next level.
So if people do say, if you do hear people saying, you know, that they don't think that spending their own sort of valuable time after hours maybe at a business networking event, if they say it doesn't work, you know, why do you think that is?
Look, I think it's very common that, I'm sure you've had it yourself as well, where you're walking back to the car after 3 hours at an event and you're wondering to yourself, what was that all about? Did I get value out of it? Did I come away with anything?
Yeah.
You know, was that a waste of my time? But I think that's something that we all do. I think that what we need to do is we need to take a look at all of the positives instead of taking a look at the negatives. If your networking is working for you and you get a new piece of business from it, how much is that worth to you? What is the annual value to you in your business? With hosting websites, what's the value of one client if you were to get that through your business networking? And beyond that, of course, because it's all about relationships, what would be the value not only of that one client, but if that one client was so happy that he gave you a referral? So you start to look at all the positives. If I can review what I'm doing to make my networking more productive and more effective for me, what would the outcomes be of that? And I think if you can look at it from that point of view, then, you know, we as small business owners, we invest a huge amount of our personal time, a huge amount of our after hours time. People in corporates perhaps a little bit less, but even for someone in corporate, if they bring in a new piece of business or a new opportunity, that can secure their jobs, that can secure their bonuses, that can do a lot of things, you know, whether you're self-employed or employed. And I think it's about looking at all of the positives that networking can bring to you and your business, and then finding ways to be better at it so that you can get those positive results more consistently.
So the two takeaways there then are really about the lifetime value of a customer. Don't just sort of look at the initial transaction value, but look at the sort of lifetime value, and also how many referrals they can bring you. It's not just about, you know, that individual single transaction. You're looking further ahead, and that's where networking helps.
Yes, and I think also to understand that networking is a slow burn. And, you know, it's very important that people understand that networking is not about selling.
Yeah.
Because that can ruin it for everybody. It's really about selling yourself and getting people to know you and like you and trust you. So I'm not really advocating that you're going to go there to do lots of sales. But what I am saying is when you're networking, when you've invested time in your networking and built that social capital, the returns can be positive. And what are the positive returns? New clients and new referrals.
Well, I mean, that sort of touches actually on my next question, because I know that sometimes people say they can be a little bit uncomfortable at networking events. They feel a bit out of place. And what would you say to help them to get the most really out of these types of events?
Well, what would I say to help them? The first thing I'd say, if that's the way, you know, if that resonates with anybody that's listening, is it's okay, you're normal.
Right.
I think there's a report that comes out annually from Stanford University. And it clearly shows that 80% of people self-diagnose as shy. So, you know, that could be a great icebreaker. You could walk up to someone that you don't even know and say, oh, I feel terrible at these things. You know, how are you feeling? And you'll probably find a kindred spirit there in the room.
That's a good tip, that is.
Yeah. I mean, it's honest. I mean, most people feel ill at ease in strange environments amongst people that they don't know well. So the first thing to say is it's not just you,
right,
and relax in the fact that, you know, it's normal to feel that way.
Yeah.
I think that for many people, you know, I have a question. If you were to go and see one of your top clients and you were going to do a presentation in relation to the products and services that you have, and you hadn't prepared, how would you feel?
Well, I mean, I'd feel quite uncomfortable. I'd probably be able, but I would probably be able to sort of, you know, put across a good presentation.
You'd have a go, wouldn't you? Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Wouldn't be the best you'd ever done, and you'd feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, networking is exactly the same.
Okay.
So what people think they've got to do is they're doing their daily work, and they think all they've got to do is turn up. And actually, if you get involved in investing a little bit of your time in the preparation and planning before an event, that starts to put you in the same position that you would be before a presentation if you'd prepared for it. If you know, for example, who you want to meet, if you know what the purpose of the event is, if you know who the speaker's going to be and what the speaker topic is going to be. If you've done a little bit of preparation and planning, it starts to calm you because you are prepared. And how the calmness reflects is in self-confidence. So I think that if they're uncomfortable, that's a great way. It's just a little bit of preparation and planning. But the other thing is most people like to arrive fashionably late at networking events. And of course that will automatically put you under pressure because people will be engaged in groups. What I would say is if you do feel nervous, arrive 10-15 minutes early, meet the host, get yourself a drink, and then everybody that comes into that room will have to come and talk to you.
Yeah.
It's a lot less nerve-wracking.
That's a good point. I mean, I know you've got loads of advice, but what would be your top 3 networking tips for our listeners today?
I think be aware of what networking is. So before you go, bring front of mind in your consciousness that you're not there to sell. You're not there to sell products, services, you're there to sell yourself. You're there to build relationships. So if you find yourself doing any selling, or you find yourself, you know, doing too much talking, because you're only going to find opportunity if you're doing some listening, then it's just be aware of what you're doing and ensure all of your actions and reactions go towards that end goal. I would say for many people, one of the most common questions that's asked when you go networking is, what do you do?
Yeah.
And most people have not prepared, if you like, what they call their elevator pitch. And that's a golden moment where you can create a compelling picture of yourself in the eye of the person that you're talking to. But it's not an easy thing to do well, and it's not an easy thing to do clearly, and it takes a little bit of investment in yourself to sit down and clearly distill a really good answer for that. So I would always say prepare a really good elevator pitch.
Just on that, sorry to interrupt there, Mark, but just on that particular point, because I know that people have a bit of a problem there. They think, maybe that they're sounding a bit flash, or that they might sound not very genuine in terms of that sort of elevator pitch, and even a sort of unique selling point for their business. How can people achieve that and without, in a way that makes them feel comfortable, I guess?
I think that it's really important to understand that nobody actually cares what you do. They only care about what you can do for them.
Exactly. Good point.
So I think in all instances, whether you're talking to a friend or you're talking to a business partner or you're talking to a supplier, anybody, when you can help them, it puts you at ease. So whilst it may appear that in developing an elevator pitch you might think that's very structured and you might think that's very kind of show reel, once you've delivered it a few times and practiced it, it becomes very natural. And if you're focusing on not what you do, but how what you do can help other people in their business, then it becomes very genuine. So I think practice makes genuine here.
Okay, excellent.
So I think that's the two things, and I think the third thing that people don't really do enough of when they've been to networking events is follow up.
Right.
And I think it's important, if you've made a few new contacts, to send a quick email to them, thanking them, connect with them on LinkedIn. Bring something personal that you discussed in the conversation, so they know it's not just like a standard email that's gone out and they've been put into the BCC line. Make it very personal. And if there was in the conversation something that you uncovered where you felt that you could bring value or help them with a challenge or a problem that might be coming in their business, that you follow up in there and suggest perhaps that you might get together for a cup of coffee and a chat to continue the discussion to see how you might be able to help each other. And just keep it nice and friendly and light. But following up, I think, is where people do let themselves down, and where lots and lots of opportunity and new business just gets left on the table.
Excellent. So you need to plenty of listening, then your elevator pitch, and following up. Those are the three top things that you would recommend. Excellent.
Yeah, being very, very well aware of what you're doing when you're going networking. You're there to build relationships. Exactly. You're not there to go selling.
Excellent.
You're not there to go selling.
Now, my final question then is where do business owners find out about networking events in their area? What's the best way to start and find out more about this?
Oh, I think that one of the best online portals for listings of events in local areas is definitely Business Scene. So if they look for business-scene.com, that's got an event listing where what you would do is I think you put in your postal code and it will bring up all of the networking meetings from all of the networking groups that are available, and there are many, as you well know, and everything that's within a 30-mile radius of your postal code should normally come up. So I think that's probably the best point of departure to find all of the networking opportunities that are going on in your area.
Excellent. That's brilliant. So Mark, thanks very much. That's been really, really useful, and I'm sure that plenty of people will be wanting to connect up with you and contact you. What's the best way for people to get hold of you then? Through LinkedIn, for example?
Well, as I train people on how to effectively use LinkedIn for business growth, I have a presence on LinkedIn, and obviously that's the best place. Is please connect to me on LinkedIn, and if you mention Pickaweb interview in the connection, then I'll know that you came from this interview, which would be great.
Yep.
It's definitely the best place to connect with me online, and from there all my contact details and everything else really pertaining to how I might be able to help, that's all listed in the LinkedIn profile.
Excellent. So what I'll do is I'll put a link below then for your LinkedIn profile, and as Mark says, if you just put Pickaweb interview when you connect with Mark, then he'll know where you've come from. And I know that I've got a copy of your one of your books here.
There it is,
the Impeccable Host. So I know that you're giving away a few free chapters or a couple of free chapters from the book, are you? On your website.
That kind of, as we said, know, like and trust. I think for most people today, it's, go to the website. It's impeccablehost.co.uk, and there what they can do is they can download some free chapters in the book, so they can really get a taster for the book.
Yep.
And if they feel that the skills and techniques in those taster chapters can help them with their business development and business growth and revenue generation, then feel free to to follow through it and get the whole book. But you're more than welcome to download 6 or 7 of the chapters and see if it resonates with you and see if it can add value to your business.
That's brilliant. That's all. That's great. Thank you very much for your time. And as I say, if anyone's got any comments, do please put them below. Mark will be answering your questions, and so will I if there's anything relating to that. So as I say, we would encourage our listeners, do put your comments below. We do read them, and we will get back to you. It's a really, really important area for you. Okay, and thank you very much again for your time, Mark.
Tony, it's been lovely spending some time chatting with you. Bye bye now.
Bye bye then. All the best.